is off of that. From the makeup room. When I say the NASCAR pit crew, this is them. It's Renee and Amanda and Heather and all my friends that play in Romper Room. Trice tweeted, first thing before breakfast, my son checks for Robb and Meade on television. Oh. Well, I tell you what, you must be among the most informed when it comes to current events at school. So impressed with you. So what's happening when you are where you are? It's kind of like if you have to be up early, it can be painful. So let's, we're in it together. Come as you are. Facebook, Instagram, or tweet a picture or video. The hashtag is My Morning Express. No more job crisis. Well, if you listen to a top economist, money expert Jen notes that the economy is adding jobs at a pace that we haven't seen since the 90s. Good morning.
Good morning. I mean, full employment is the phrase that two different top bankers use. Two of our Fed officials from the Federal Reserve that they've used this phrase in the past week. We're now at 5% unemployment, which many economists consider to be full employment. Why not 0%? Well, they say there's always people who they quit or they're in the process of getting a new job or they don't have to work. They kind of see that as a level that's appropriate. So now that's different from people who are long-term unemployed for sure. And it's also different from a discussion about whether or not you think the jobs that our economy creating pay enough. But our economy is creating 200,000 new jobs a month for about 2 years running now. So that is a clip we have not seen since the late 1990s. All right, let's go back to the Wall Street crisis when unemployment spiked up. A lot of people remember that nobody went to jail over America's massive mortgage fraud and the housing collapse. Now the banks may not even have to pay those billion-dollar penalties. An appeals court just ruled government prosecutors never proved their case. The appeals court said it was never proved fraud by Countrywide Credit, and they say that Bank of America, which owns it now, does not have to pay that $1.3 billion fine. It also calls into question all the other big billion-dollar fines that the other banks agreed to pay after Bank of America did. So this is going to be an interesting one to keep watching. Yeah?
Yeah. So that steam come out of your ears time.
Yeah.
Nobody has to pay now? Yeah.
And here's another steam coming out of your ears. Or, I thought my car was safe. Another 1.5 million cars may have those potentially deadly airbags from Takata. Maybe yours if you're driving a Toyota. The new cars involved include models of the Lexus, the Sienna, the 4Runner, the Corolla, and more. We're talking 5 million Toyotas in all, just in the United States. So if you drive a Toyota, it may be that you thought yours was safe until now. So please go ahead, check our Facebook page, get the link, find out which ones. Make sure your car is safe. Call your dealer. Get on the list for the replacement parts. Robin.
Thank you, dear. So the TSA's head of security is out of the job, and let's put the pot company on the stock exchange. Is this a new version of Just Say No? Let's go.
It's Tuesday, May 24th. Another hour of Morning Express starts now. Here's Robb and Meade.
Alrighty, so right before you get ready for your Memorial Day weekend, a middle school teacher in Minneapolis is trying to inspire students by helping them create a new school song. Yes. All right, 14 minutes past the hour. It's a long way from the fight songs that are just reused and reused and reused from one school to another, and we just put new words to it. Our salute to the troops today is from, does he ever get tired of people going, Usher, Usher, Usher? You have somebody in the military, we think of you as a celeb too. So if you want to be the one talking about your loved one whom you want to salute in the military, go ahead, be our guest. Tweet me the link at Robb and Meade if you're more of a Facebooker. Facebook the same thing to the show. Speaking of, Facebook says it didn't find any evidence that its trending topics feature is politically biased. So Jen notes, though, that said, Facebook is still going to change the algorithm, however. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, they are still, really on the hot seat after that report that said that there were basically human beings at Facebook that were knocking out stories because they had conservative sources. Facebook said they didn't find any company bias when they did an internal investigation. But yes, they are changing the way that humans tweak that list. They're reminding people that, hey, this should not be about politics, that you're tweaking stuff. Also, I just want you to keep in mind, this is not about the news that you see in your own personal news feed. It's that part there on the top right, the trending stories. That's what we're talking about here. And basically, they said they're going to change that algorithm a little bit. And again, remind people not to be biased. This was all in a letter to the Senate Commerce Committee, by the way. Broadway is on a hot streak. Money-wise, the New York Times reports Broadway shows sold a record $1.4 billion worth of tickets. That is 13 million people seeing all these shows. Think you know the top grossing show? You're thinking Hamilton, aren't you? No, The Lion King was the top ruler. They brought in $102 million. It is now in its 18th year. Hamilton, though, was seen as a lightning rod. It got a lot more people talking about Broadway, got Broadway into popular culture. And a spokesperson said shows like Glee and Smash have also helped their image that Broadway is for everyone, not just the 1%. The family of Freddie Gray, well, their reaction to the not guilty verdict for an officer implicated in Gray's death may really surprise you. That's coming up.
Is it just a thing that when you play in Toronto, you lose? Because that's the case with the Cavs. They've lost 2 in a row after previously being undefeated in the playoffs. What gives, Coy?
Good morning, Robin. The Great North, the Cavs. It'll stream online there during the week, and then on Fridays, TBS is the place to be.
I like
it's
it.
Fascinating.
Some of the promotions, the sound bites from the contestants or the team members. My mom and dad would say, "Get off that game,"
right?
And now I can say I can make money doing it.
Come on, pay off your house, right?
Right?
That's right.
All right, rapper T.I. is talking about his new role in the remake of Roots. Some Dems are worried that the battle between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders is polarizing the party now, and they are looking for a political peacemaker.
I recognize and salute you.
Jen is so sweet. She goes, I don't even know what that's from. I'm like, from his big hit with Luda. Luda! I can't think of the words. If you have someone in the military and you want to be the one to get the salute about them on the air, honey, I think you're a celeb. You do the talking. So you can tweet me your link at Robin Meade, or you can Facebook the show. Facebook says, speaking of Facebook, it didn't find any evidence that its trending topics feature is politically biased, but still yet money expert Jen noticed they're changing the way that it happens. Good morning.
Because, there's always, it's called bias and then the perception of bias.
Sure.
So they got to fight that too. Facebook says they did an internal investigation. They say they found no company bias going on here, but they say they are absolutely changing the way they put together that trending stories list. Now, trending stories, right? Not your news feed, what you're seeing, the stories you like. It's that one on the top right that you see with the circle there. And this is, of course, after that bombshell report that some workers said people were dropping out stories if they came from conservative news sources. That looked bad. This was a letter to the Senate Commerce Committee where Facebook said they're going to tweak the algorithm. They're going to better define that section so that you don't think it's just purely math. And they're also going to remind their humans not to be politically biased. Broadway is having its best season ever. Money-wise, the New York Times says they sold a record $1.4 billion worth of tickets. Huge. That is 13 million people going to see shows. Top grossing show?
Hamilton. No.
Lion King!
Really?
Totally got me too. I was like, what?
Hamilton must not have enough seating then.
Well, and also the Lion King is in its 18th year.
Oh, I see.
Baker Theater. Yeah.
Oh, not per year, but all, I see. Overall top gross.
No. For the year.
No way.
But since they've been around for 18 years, they're selling it. Hamilton was seen as a lightning rod, though, that it got a lot more people talking about Broadway.
I remembered this song now from Usher, where I was like, Usher. So the lyrics go, yeah. Those are the lyrics.
I'll have to look.
Yeah. Dun, 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 saying, yeah. That's it. It was a huge outrage outrage this morning as the head of the VA seemed to compare wait times that our veterans endure trying to get care to the wait time that you see at Disneyland. Gone if it collapses? Then what do you got? Our salute to the troops is from Usha.
Luckily, I don't have half an hour away.
Yeah.
Son of a, what do you say? Well,
Yeah.
we know.
What?
What, you talking about lake
Oh,
effect
I thought you
stuff?
said the shot on the voice. So Hannah sang a dark and moody version of a police song. Kid got a little too close for comfort when they broke into a woman's home.
Just kidding.
Or any sun damage. So there's like a bear, but then there's a bear. Two different things. Anyway, our salute to the troops today is from singer Usher. And then if you have somebody in the military, honey, I think you're a celeb too. So post your video. Actually, you can tweet me a link to you talking about your loved one in the military, and we'll put it on the air. Or you can Facebook the show if you prefer to Facebook. Speaking of which, Facebook says it didn't find evidence that its trending topics feature is politically biased, but still yet, Money Expert Jen notes, they're going to change up the way that you see it. Good morning.
Good morning, to make sure that it isn't. And you know, they're saying we found that the company isn't biased, but they sort of left open that maybe some people had been biased. So they're changing the way they put together that trending stories list. Now, keep in mind, that's not your news feed, the stories that you read. It's the one that you see over on the top right. You can see it in the circle there. And it's supposed to be showing you top trending stories around the country. But there was a report that some people working at Facebook were spiking out stories from conservative news sources. Now, this turned into a big deal, right? This turned into a letter to the Senate Commerce Committee. Facebook saying that they'll tweak their algorithm. They'll also better define that section so that it's not misleading. You don't